Wonderful. Hi, Leslie in Toronto. Hi, Ray. Hey, Berkeley Springs, West Virginia, USA. All right. Wonderful. We have a beautiful connection around the world today. Ah, incredible. All righty. I will start the recording. All right, welcome to the Unity Consciousness event where we are having heart and soul led conversations to uplift and empower our awakening. Today, you have the pleasure of being with me. We get to connect today, and I always love coming live as well during the event because I love connecting with all the information that has come through the conversations and the speakers and see, what themes you're picking up on, as well as the themes I'm experiencing, as well as share live intuitive guidance. So this is going to be an opportunity for you today to share in chat. We're not going to do any live conversations, just to be concise with timing as well, to give more people to converse. So later on, or at any point you want to, please write in chat questions that you have about your awakening, about the path, about anything that you heard through the conversations, just so we can engage today. And so as usual, we're going to begin with our opening grounding meditation, and just inviting you, if you're in a safe place, to close your eyes. Or if you'd like to leave them open, that's fine too. Whatever feels good for you as you like to tune into your body and your space. Just tuning in, seeing what's available today for you. As you start to bring your awareness to your breath. And as you bring your awareness to your breath, just noticing your inhales and your exhales. Noticing your body, how you feel with your inhale and your exhale. And as you do so, inviting yourself here to this moment from anywhere that you might have been before this moment, or even maybe where your thoughts are going to later in the day. Just inviting yourself to be right here, right now, in your body, in this moment. Deepening your breath if you can, maybe inviting it to go deeper into your belly, deeper into your chest. Maybe taking a sigh out to relax your face, relax your shoulders, relax your hips. Feeling yourself more in your body, more in your seat, more in your space. And as you do so, inviting any cords that you may have taken on with anybody, any place, anything, maybe any thoughts or emotions or experiences, interactions. Just releasing them, inviting them to release from your physical body, your energy body, sending all this energy back to where it needs to go in its highest good, or you can send it to source. Inviting a clear white light around your body, a pure crystalline light around your body. And with your breath, inviting that to expand as you'd like to, above you, below you, in front of you, behind you, around you. As you call yourself home from anywhere you might have left yourself, in any people, places, things, thoughts, emotions, and you invite your energy back to yourself through this clear crystalline energy to be just pure energy of yourself. your pure energy, filling you up as if you're breathing yourself in, filling your body up, inviting all the cells of your body that are the pure white essence, the pure clear source essence of yourself to meet with your breath, so that you're full of light and connection with your true self within, your true light within, your clarity, your power, your strength, your courage, your presence. As you give yourself this space, also inviting this clear, pure light from source above your head to flow through the center of your body, the center of your head, the center of your neck, the center of your upper torso, mid torso, lower torso, down through your root, down through the floor, down into the pure crystalline heart of Mother Earth. As we bring ourselves here into this space together, connected in our centers, and this pure crystalline light flowing through all the lands that we're upon, of all that are here present and all that are on the replay, to allow a coherence of pure self, pure being, pure heart, pure mind, pure soul as one, as unity consciousness. Honoring the unity consciousness that we are at our core, as well as our individuated state, our unique expression of our beautiful self. Taking a moment to breathe through your heart. That pure crystalline light through the center of your heart. To acknowledge you, acknowledge your whole self. And inviting your own unity to be felt, to be heard, to be seen by you. To be acknowledged by you. That you are whole. That each moment is just an opportunity to learn, to grow, to be, to experience life, free of the limitations or ideas of right or wrong or the judgments, just present with what is, who you are becoming. As we invoke the golden light that has the pure crystalline diamond in the center that's been holding the energy of this event, and all the intentions spoken by you or intended by you in any way, and all the speakers. I'm just sharing my intention here that we all get to love ourselves, that we all get to come into deep care, connection, the willingness to listen to ourselves, to feel ourselves, to honor ourselves in pure presence and connection, and to remember the joy and happiness of life, the vitality and the play, and the innocence and the expression of who we get to be, free of pressures and ideas and conditions, just free to be. And if you have any intentions that you would like to speak into this space in your own, or speak them to yourself in your head or your heart, beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mm. Feeling your feet and your hands and welcoming yourself to this space. Yes. Felt that it was nice to do a longer meditation with you today, a nicer space to come in since it's us. And uh just for those of you, I just want to appreciate you, those of you especially that I've seen every day, on the live conversations, and those of you that I know that have been corresponding about the replays. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your willingness to show up and to be here. And most importantly, to recognize that you're here, for you. And that's powerful. That's potent. That's a potent way to give yourself the opportunity to honor who you are, and your place and your position in this world right now that's supporting that awareness of being awakened, that awareness of creating a new experience, within your own life and with on this planet. And so for those of you who may be new to me through this event, Kristen Bielecki, and I have a passion for guiding people, facilitating that place of being led by our heart and soul, led by your heart and soul, knowing who you are and moving through all the things that you've taken on in life that have said that you aren't. And say yes to yourself. Say yes to yourself. So yeah, so thank you. Thank you for being here with us. And yeah, if you have anything you want to share, please share it in chat. Yeah. And so yeah, I'm not sure, Barbara, yeah, just wanting to share it in chat right now. Yeah.
I just wanted to a quick moment. Sometimes we forget to do this. So, Kristen, thank you so much. I've had one of those mornings that this was just what I needed. So, thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Yeah. Feeling you. Thank you. And for everyone else too that's here that needs it and is thank you. Thank you for showing up and thank you for sharing your voice, Barbara. Yeah. Um, so so I like to share these events to optimize our connection. And one of the things that I love is seeing how it ripples out, seeing where you all are on the planet and seeing what you all get to bring in and seeing how we get to share this radiance of life and what it helps us remember, what it helps us embody, what it helps us maybe just settle down a little bit more onto our path and release any of the challenges, that we kind of have, or the pressures or the ideas or the misconceptions of everything that, life brings us, so that we can remember maybe a little bit more of levity, of light, of care for ourselves, of connection and being present with what is. And I love to share this through also online group courses and sessions and one-on-one mentorships. So it's a real blessing to be able to see you all and connect with you all in these ways. And I just wanted to share a couple of reminders before I go deeper into discussion, is just to know that tomorrow we start the 72-hour replay, the 3-hour replay, where you can access all of the conversations for 3 full days. And you'll get emails with the link where all the speakers are available on one page. So you can just click on each speaker as you want to. And that also, some people have been sharing maybe some challenges with accessing the free gifts. And the free gifts on each individual speaker page that you access that speaker's links to either YouTube or Vimeo, at the bottom below that, there's a description of the free gift and the button to press to access their free gift. So you go to their website, and the free gifts are only going to be available for the next 3 days after, during the replay. And if you've received the VIP package and you bought that, the links are not going to be included in that, because a lot of times the speakers change their free gifts over time, those links become not operable anymore, or they're only offering something specific for this event. And then after that, they're going to take it down. and not make it available. So just if you want any of the free gifts, make sure that you access them over the next few days so that you get those and you get to connect with the people that you've loved through the event. And also Friday, after the replay, just like I did the opening ceremony, we're doing the unification ceremony. And I always love also creating a nice space where we're honoring the space that we had all together through the time and closing the space that way together. So if you want to join us on Friday, you'll be receiving the invitation for that in the email. And so, Barbara, it's funny because I had some things this morning too, like some timing snafus, and I was just like, oh, how did that happen? So I like had something that ended right before this began, and then, realized I, made double scheduled something, and it was just like, or somehow thought when I thought I had shifted timing, and my timing was a little fuddled today. And here we are. Here we are. So I'm grateful that we get to flow with that and we get to connect. So today, because I traveled over the weekend to visit family, and I'm in a different time zone, and I think my mind is just like trying to trying to figure that out. So what I wanted to do today, which I'm really excited about, is just discuss awakening and soul embodiment, as well as some of the themes that we picked up during this week, because there seem to be some really potent threads of themes that each speaker is feeling. And that just speaks to what's happening in the collective consciousness right now and how we're all choosing to shift into a new perspective, a new awareness, a new way of being in our power, in our bodies, in our lives, and how we want to see this planet shift and change and what that is actually doing and creating. And then, like I said, I'm also here to answer your questions. So if there was something that you're like, oh, that really landed for me, or oh, I'm really kind of confused, but I want to gain clarity on maybe something that we spoke about last week, or maybe just something that's happening in your own life as you're going through your own process of transformation and awareness and learning and growing, just put it in chat and I'll answer your questions the best that I can. And so the themes that were really sticking out to me, that were really like, right, look at these themes. And also, if you are noticing in that you picked up, put them in chat. I'd love to see like what landed for you the most and what you are maybe experiencing as an ongoing, right, that's deepening throughout the whole experience. Yeah. Lots of love to you, Barbara, coming through the chat here. So, and if you're on chat, and on YouTube or here on, on Zoom, please feel free to keep the energy flowing there. So I was noticing sovereignty, leadership, inner authority, really getting into our own, rhythm, our own voice, our own flavor, our own experience, and how important that is above and beyond kind of like thinking about, oh, what do I have to do out in the world, right? Like it's really coming home to ourself, coming home to ourself. And this is what kind of like my foundation and what I like to share and teach and like share with people during what work I do with people, the offerings that I share, because I have found for myself that that is the most potent thing too. I'll give you some background. I was, you know, I did a lot of yoga and meditation in my later teen years, and then went through activism, some deep activism, like in the streets, organizing protests in DC, doing all and working with some really amazing leaders and doing some really cool work. And then noticing like, that's not changing anything, like we're just out here having fun playing while the congressmen people and all this stuff are just, side eyeing, yeah, whatever, like that's not, we're not, we're expressing our voice, we're being visible, we're being seen in what we believe and what we feel, but it's not having the impact that we'd like. And I was sitting there reflecting on it one day, and I was noticing like, wow. And even just watching people in the activist community, like where people were coming from, their ideas, their beliefs, their experiences. And I was just noticing like, wow, what really needs to happen is some healing. And that was just like, ah, okay, but what does that mean? What does that really mean? So I kind of left the whole activist community and just started engaging with, what does healing mean? What does change really mean? What does transformation of self and the world really look like? And like I mentioned in a conversation with John Burgos, is that I studied globalization, and then I traveled, a lot in the world, and just saw how, the different ways of living and the different ways of being, and, economics, and how, the Western world was trying to impose on these, communities that were egalitarian and had community and were sustainable and self-generative, and how that all was shifting because of this idea of westernization. And I feel like, what we're doing right now in this collective experience and this change on our planet is we're shifting all of those ideas and concepts and saying, okay, wait a minute. What really needs to happen is coming into balance again, coming into balance again, coming into harmony. And the way to do that is to go inside. And so through that, through my journey and my, quote unquote, waking up to seeing what's really real in the world from my perspective of what's real in the world, right? Which I think is balance and harmony and being at one with nature and ourself, and, being able to have that freedom of movement in our bodies and in our feelings and in our expression, where we're honoring each other and understanding each other and willing to work with each other and collaborate, right? And have that perspective of connection, just, and life, being alive and honoring life and each other, and doing the best we can when conflicts arise, right? Because conflicts do arise anywhere. So it's like having the tools to do that in a supportive way. And so when we're doing that, what we're talking about through these themes of being in our own rhythm, being embodied, remembering these truths, remembering these depths of who we are, that's what's coming alive, is that deep healing of where we've maybe felt we've got disconnected or separated from just life itself, the true essence of life itself, which is that freedom and the expression of self and the connection and community with each other. And so that coming into that sovereignty, coming into that inner authority, that, these things that were spoken this week, and that leadership first is, it happens here. And I noticed that, from my experience of working alongside people who were leaders. Yes, they may have their own issues in life, but the leaders that I felt the most connection with were those that were willing to really connect with themselves, that were really willing to know themselves and go, these are my weaknesses, these are my strengths, and I have this passion, and I'm just going to go out there and do it. I'm just going to do it because I don't know any other, that's just like, it's a drive, right? And so whenever we feel a drive in life, but we can come from that place of sincerity and genuineness and authenticity, that we're feeling a sense of, it's not coming from a need or a desire or a want or a desperation or it's a trying to get something from the world. It's more of like, it's just coming from, there's nothing else there. That's just what life is. That's who we are. That's embodiment, right? And it doesn't even have to be anything big. A leadership could be, wow, I'm going to go out and just be kind to people today, because that's what I'm feeling, or I'm going to go support my neighbor because I'm noticing this, and they need it and they're asking for it. Leadership is really being able just to lead ourself first from a place of self-awareness and connection, from knowing who we are in each moment. So there's some things going on with sound. Okay. I apologize about that. I am in a new space. I'm not connected into the Ethernet. I can't connect into the Ethernet like I usually, or the Ether cable like I usually do. So I apologize for any uh uh connection issues. Yes. So my passion has always been to see change on the planet, right? And then as I went through my spiritual process too, of like engaging with recognizing that that's what life is a sacred spiritual experience. You know, these are words we're using, but it's just life itself, the divinity of life, that it was like, oh, right. It needs to start here. It needs to start here. The healing needs to start here. And if we all do that, then change will happen. The change will happen as we learn and grow, and that we're okay with each moment of our growth. When we say, who am I? A lot of times we go into this big overarching, like, oh my God, I got to know who I am. Like, you know, this big thing. And it's like, well, who am I today? Who am I in this moment? When we ask that question, that for me, when I ask that question, that's where it's coming from. Who am I today? Who am I in this moment? Who are you in this moment? And can you be in connection and presence with who you are right now? And then from that place, choose how you're going to shift, to move, to be, to experience life, and allow, you know, maybe those deeper truths from the conditionings that you've had that you're recognizing, like, oh, I'm this, and I'm noticing that. So, I'm going to work on this part of myself. I'm going to connect with this part of myself. I'm going to, you know, do what's needed. If it's the shadow work, or if it's just going into frequency and saying, wow, I really want to embody this frequency and know this frequency. So I'm going to, you know, bring that into my environment or into my mind and my thoughts, into my feelings as much as I can, so that that's what my system and my body attunes to, right? And then later today, who am I? Tomorrow, who am I? And getting into that space where we can be honoring of all the shifts and changes that happen each moment consistently. When we have a moment of, oh my goodness, you know, I slipped into this thing again, or oh wow, look at where I look at how I've changed or shifted. Look at what's fresh and new, this perspective, that we're just right there with each of them, and that we're moving. We're just consistently remembering, and that our awakened self is already within us, already whole. So I'm not sure if you can hear the dogs barking in the background, but my family has dogs. So here we are. So yeah, I want to read some of the comments in here. So Barbara, you're saying to be open to whatever else is out there for me to experience without judgment. Mm, okay. So, and also, I love that. Yeah, without judgment. What are you here to experience without judgment? In here, out there, all around, right? Bringing it home, right? Bringing it home. So, yeah. So let's see. So Barbara, I'm being invited to do a presentation to a group in Uganda on basically the same topic. Beautiful. Yes. And you came into overwhelm. Yeah. Yeah, that happens. Oops. hmm I just froze. Okay. Sorry about that. So that happens. You know, we get into overwhelm sometimes. You know, we do. We get into overwhelm, and it's an opportunity to acknowledge it and be present with it, and then choose, and then just say, okay, what can I do right now? What can I do to support myself in this moment? You know, maybe I get to, maybe I just get to take a break. Maybe I get to take a moment to myself and see where the overwhelm, like visit my body. Where is it sitting in my body? How do I get to be? And this is that ever flowing presence, right? That ever flowing presence that I like to invite you into, and that I like to give myself. You know, whenever it feels a little, it's like, oh, it's feeling a little challenging to sit with that presence, or it's a feeling a little challenging to sit with this overwhelm. It's a little challenging. And I'm going to keep acknowledging and just allow, and just allow, you know, and like you were saying, not judge it. Right. And so this remembrance on this planet, like we're in that co-creation, when we're honoring ourselves, that is strength. You know, I find that, you know, everyone's like, I got to be strong and courageous and go out in the world and do something. And it's like, you want to know what I have found? The biggest strength and courage comes when we connect with ourselves. that takes courage a lot of times, doesn't it? To connect with ourselves and be honest and true and real with ourselves. And when you're honest and true and real with yourself, then guess what? That is so magnetizing for what is true for you to emerge from within you, and then also to emerge from without in relationships or connections or opportunities or whatever, right? That is what we're here for. What we're here for is right here. Does that make sense? Yeah. And how powerful that is. And then it emanates. And then, and then we're in flow with the people around us and we just show up. We just show up. And when we can let go of that idea of having to, uh, do something with somebody or somebody else or the world or, others needing to show up a certain way or whatever, it's really coming home to ourselves. How do we show up for ourselves? It's not about anybody else. How are we showing up for ourselves? Yeah. And how powerful that is. That's remembering. That's the remembrance. That's coming into that awakened state. Yeah. Yeah. For you to get out of comparison, Barbara. Yeah. So I'd love to hear, if anyone else has any themes or anything that you picked up during the event that you're like, yeah, that really stuck with me. That really awakened something in me or inspired something in me or, ooh, made me question something, share it in chat. I'd love to know. Yeah. Yeah, George, the term that you and the speakers were using, landing, spoke to me because I usually intellectualize, but this landing concept helped me to ground deeper into the truths that were being offered daily. Great. Into my own heart and into the heart of planet Earth, and to begin landing wherever I find myself and trusting that I am bringing my conviction of my heart with me in this moment. Thank you for offering this multidimensional diamond of truth. Oh, yes, I love that, George. Absolutely. The multidimensional diamond of truth. Yeah. And it is multidimensional, right? Because we are multidimensional. And I love that landing. Yes, it's that embodiment. It's like it's coming in, right? It's like landing is like, yeah, we're letting it ground in, we're letting it come in and letting it then have its way to integrate, right? Instead of it being that lofty in the mind and having to figure it out, right? Having to figure it out. It's like, and recognizing, and what that's also bringing forward, George, is that awareness that what we're speaking is sound, it's vibration, right? And so what we're asking for is, the sound and the vibration of the concept to land in the body. So it's the invitation to go, oh, I don't have to be in my mind and thinking about it. I'm inviting the frequency of that dimension. It's fascinating to me of thinking about it this way, in the multidimensional way, is every word, every sound, you and your whole being is a dimension in and of itself, is a whole universe and dimension in and of itself that we're all co-creating and relating with all the time, right? And so just the word landing is a whole dimension in and of itself, right? And so it's like, wow, taking that in and being like, wow, how do I get to relate in this world from more of this fluidity and interrelationship of experience? How am I using the ways that I'm choosing to be as an opportunity to grow, to see, to feel, to open? How am I connecting with what someone else is saying to see it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and seeing how it's all in this interplay, of connection. And when we can see it from that way, instead of the static, you, me, word, feeling, it's like, woo, there's a lot more going on here. Can I breathe into the awareness that it's all a interconnected play for connection, for awareness, and it's frequency. It's frequency. Yeah. And yeah, Barbara, land and take root. Absolutely. That's embodiment. That's that moment that we get to connect, feel the body, anchor into the body, you know, because that's what we're doing is we're anchoring our body into our soul. We're welcoming our soul into our body. We're welcoming that play, connecting in, coming down from the thoughts, coming down from being out of the body because of, you know, connecting to source or creation or this thing and this idea that we're creating in our field, right? Landing in, feeling our feet on the floor, feeling our feet on the ground, remembering Mother Earth, remembering that consciousness and that play of life where we're here together doing this, you know, and letting that create the flow of our life, that rhythm of our life, the voice that we have that we talked about a lot, you know, through our experience. You know, we started off with Ashwarya on the day one with, you know, going into the throat, you know, and then day 5 on was like your voice, you know, and in between we still had, you know, some people sharing that as well. You know, it's like how important it is to move through this gateway through our collective right now of honoring our sound, honoring our resonance, honoring to give it to ourself first, right? To give it to ourself first, because that's where it begins. Like we are talking about in the beginning of this conversation, that's where it begins is our connection with ourself, right? What are we speaking to ourself? What words are we using? How do we sound when we say it? How do we sound when we're writing it? How do we sound when it's coming through our head, you know, or our heart? What's it making our bodies feel? How is it shaping our experience? Right. So this is it's a massive shift on our planet right now where we're choosing to recognize how we're communicating, you know, how we're communicating in all these different ways. And then it's so powerful when we get to uh connect with it ourselves. And like I was mentioning in the different conversations, that was a massive shift for me too. Massive, just massive. You know, like, you know, like I say, like if someone told me I'd be sitting here in front of you, sharing myself with you in this way, it's like, no way. I'd be like, pull the covers over my head, you know, never. I don't have that kind of, you know, juice in me to do that or self-love or acceptance or, you know, there was so much judgment. There was so much, you know, repression. So here we are. It's happening one by one, each one of us, when we choose it. It builds that collective energy that we truly are. And then that, you know, helps this planet. It helps Mother Earth say, okay, great. You're here with us, source. Like everyone's together, you know, all the out, you know, our experience of the collective of these, you know, other beings that are outside of us. What happens? That frequency is so is built up, strengthened, it's stronger because it's already there. It's just getting amplified. It's like if everyone was playing the same, not that we want to play the same song on our radios, you know, because we all have our own tunes and things we like to move through. But when we just dial into that frequency as that centeredness, that presence, that when we're tuning into presence and acknowledgement and maybe self-love, self-connection, that's a frequency, right? That's felt and ripples out and how powerful that is. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's see. Yes, George. Thank you. This is so resonates with me now and sharing. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, Barbara, even into taking time to really taste what I'm eating. Absolutely. That slowing down, that mindfulness, the true connection. It's bringing me to what John Burgos was saying about that sensuality of life and engaging with our senses. Like that's life. Like this is what the physical body is for. We didn't come into this physical body to then just go, I'm out, I'm ascending, I'm out, you know. We came into this physical body to experience the feel of life And that, yes, we've had some, challenging situations on this planet, that maybe there was pain in the physical body, painful emotions, painful thoughts. And there's also the beauty of life, and how are we engaging to invite ourselves to go, let's not, like, I can't remember who it was, maybe I'll look back in the notes, uh, where we're shifting from victim mentality to, our authority and our voice and our connection and that frequency of life, right? That, yes, we've been in pain, but are we going to keep saying that that's what we are, and that's who we are, and that's how we have to stay, and honoring the parts of ourselves that have protected us and guided us through life, through these experiences? And now, like, let's invite some life into that. Let's invite some of our senses into that, and like engage with maybe how the grass feels on our feet, underneath our feet, and on our bodies as we walk on earth. Simple things, because our body, sometimes our minds want to jump to the big thing right away. Yeah, I'm going to just feel great every day, and my body is going to feel good. It's like, no, what can we do right now that maybe might feel good? That reminds us of the beauty of life. Maybe it is just that simpleness of, wow, this food tastes really good, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to notice that that's beauty in life, right? So this is that engagement with that. Oh, and just remembering that these elements are alive and awake, I'm looking outside because I'm surrounded by trees and forest where I am, and it's just like life, how beautiful it is. We are that too. We're made up of the same things. So if I can see beauty there, then beauty's here too. How can we keep remembering that, right? Remembering that state of presence, that state of life, of being. Yeah. So, Barbara, we have 32 trillion cells in our bodies, and each one of them is listening to our thoughts. Yeah. And it shapes our body, it shapes our health, it shapes how everything is going to form, how our physicality forms, how our muscles are going to feel, how our joints are going to feel, how our everything's going to feel. And so over time, it's like, yeah, how do I keep, reminding my body that we're okay, we're safe, we're alive, we're we're here, and, bringing in the different frequencies that we want through our thoughts, through our words, through our vocalizations, through our movements, through our sound, through our choices. Everything is informing our body, of what we're thinking, of what we feel life is, how we think life is. And that's informing the DNA in the cells of how they're going to replicate. So what do we want to replicate? And that's not to put pressure on ourselves, like, oh my God, I got to treat myself better. Oh my God, I got to do this. It's like, no, just today in this moment, maybe it's simple as just taking a deep breath and gazing outside. And wow, I love, like for me, I love seeing the sunlight reflect off the leaves, and you can see, that glint on the leaves. I love that. And then maybe looking in your eyes right here on the screen and seeing the glint and the spark of life in your eyes or in your body, and saying, thank you for being here. Life, thank you. Right. So it's those simple things that inform our body and our experience of life, affirming life. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, love to you, Ray. Thank you. Yeah. And Judy, realizing the importance of the work that we're doing and how this is affecting and uplifting this energetic change. Absolutely. Yeah, Paul, beautifully shared. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So does anyone have any questions? Like, put it in chat, please. Like I say, like, I love it when we get to hear your voice and everything, but sometimes it just takes up a larger chunk of time. And if there's more questions, I like to really uh, have that time for questions. So if you have a question, I'm here. Put it in chat. Yeah, Barbara, this morning the sunrise in the east was absolutely amazing, and the storm that was over my head. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yes. So let's see. If you have any, hi Gail, hi Aparajita. So if you have any questions, you can put them in chat here on YouTube or on Zoom. I'm here. it's what I do. It's who I am. I like to support, anything. Yeah, George, as your wisdom unwinds and unfolds from your luminous core, you are shining on the screen. Oh, thank you, George. Appreciate your reflection. Yeah. So, so one of the things that really has been inspiring for me, thank you, Barbara, for being here. Yeah. One of that has been really inspiring for me over time of my experiences, several years ago I was shown what was happening, what going to happen on our planet right now, and preparing me for this, and like, okay, what's the most effective thing that we can do? That was kind of like my question. Like, if that's going to happen, what's the most effective thing we can do? And embodiment, love, connection, presence, awareness. And so that's why I kind of, you know, themed this event in my own space, of, self connection, presence, love, because that is the foundation of our being. If we can move in life with ourselves that way every moment. And I had in meditation a little bit ago, this piece come through that was awakening is a lifestyle, not something to be achieved. We're not achieving something here. It's not a goal that has to be like we're there, It's a lifestyle. It's a process, it's a state of being, it's a state of mind. It's a state of presence. That everything in our life is that. It's not something outside of us that we're achieving, like, we're going to hit that goal of losing 5 pounds, or hit that goal of writing our book, or hit that goal of, at least just feeling good about ourselves. It's just the ever growing presence of remembering and being. And it's happening in every lifetime we're in. This isn't just the lifetime where all of a sudden we're enlightened and, the next lifetime. Yeah, maybe it's growth all the time. Yeah. Kudos, man. I want everyone to be enlightened, I want everyone to feel good and love themselves, and may it happen now. And miracles are happening, right? And that's who we are. That's what we're calling forth in these frequencies of ourselves. Let's be that, and let's enjoy life. Let's take the things that we're experiencing in our life, and everything is a part of the remembering. Everything is a part of the awakening. How are we being in our bodies and our minds? How are we treating ourselves just as a living being in life? And this is life. And how do we want to be in relationship to that? Because I know that a lot of times we can get macro focused on our awakening, or on our healing, or on our transformation, right? And it's just like everything is gauged by that, right? Or we're constantly looking for something to, support us, and this and that, which is great. Do all the things that feel aligned and from your heart. And I think that's where it's coming from, as awakening as a lifestyle. What's really truly calling you home to yourself? And what are those things that are supportive in your environment and your experience that are allowing you to be at home with yourself? And what does that even mean? Right? What does being home in yourself even mean? It's like, well, maybe I'm just actually giving myself attention, acknowledging myself, tuning in, slowing down, what's present, what's aligned for me to do in this moment, what feels aligned, or what am I thinking I have to do compared to actually what feels resonant to do, what lights me up, what makes me feel joyful. I don't know right now, but I'm inviting that to come in. Maybe I just sit for a while and let it show up if I can, you know? What are the things that do bring me joy? And when I say that, it's not like um it's not that idea of like what brings me joy as this massive thing in life. It's like, what would feel good right now? Like for me, sometimes, like earlier, I had time in between things and I just went and sat on the porch. What feels good to me right now is sitting in the chair in the sun, just gazing at the trees, for a few minutes just to be. Man, I'd love to do that every day. Hey, that's my joy. I love being in nature, you know? And so taking it to the simple things, again, coming back into the micro essence of life instead of that big macro thing of, oh, that big thing is going to bring me joy. Just the moments, so that we can get into presence, get embodied. Because when we're constantly, working towards the bigger thing, it kind of can separate us, disassociate us, like keep us away from presence in daily life, daily experience, right? Have fun with the dance. Yes. Yeah. Paul, yeah, it's the only way to live the joy. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, right. I'm finding that proportions, sorry, someone just commented, move that. I'm finding that proportions or percentages are helpful. Yes, in the sense that how much of my day am I moving in love, grace, self-ownership? Yes, absolutely. That's it right there. It brings fluidity. Indeed. Lovely, Ray. That's it. Inviting that moment to moment. I find that that's because I went through that transition too. There was days where I was just hammering on myself, like, I this big thing because I can feel the energy. Like I know that sometimes you can feel the energy too in your body. Like I can feel it. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it, and I gotta get to it. But it's like right here, and it was just be like it would just felt so intense. And also just for that idea in my head, cycling that thought over and over and over again. What do I need to be doing? How do I need to be doing it? Constantly asking those questions but not being present with my life. And so that's where it was like, I had to shift from that and be slow down. Can I just sit for a moment? And I had to train myself to just not be popping off all the time with these like, little things and just sit and go hang out when I live by the beach, just go hang out at the beach and just stare at the ocean and go swim in the waters and just let that energy out. That's what I did. I had to just go let that energy out and say, you want to know what? And then it would just start coming to me as I was being guided. Be patient, be patient, be patient. Just trust, be patient. The choices you're making right now, the choices in this present moment that you're making right now are shaping who you're becoming, who you are, so that what you're feeling has a place to land to come alive through. Right. And so we're going back to that landing is if we're cycling all these thoughts and feelings and filling it up with all this stuff because we're kind of in a, tizzy about what we're feeling and we're not giving ourselves that presence to slow down and just be and connect and take in those feelings, whatever it is, then we're filling up that space and creating static where we want to land and come alive through, where it wants to land. It's already within us, and that's what we're feeling. It's already there. It's just it's gotta integrate. It's gotta have a place for that we're inviting it to be within us. Calming the mind, quieting the mind, coming into the center, flowing, you know, moment to moment. Yeah. Let's see. George, to realize that we are realizing light through our darkness. Yes, coming into our truth from a lifetime of living lies. Indeed. And to realize the past has delivered us to this awakened state and blessing our past for doing this, coming to our higher self through our small egoic shadow self. Yeah, absolutely. And it's so beautiful because we can go honor the lies, grateful, like, just going, wow, yeah, look who I was. look what I chose for some time of my life. Look at all of that. Wow, and now look what I get to choose, now look who I get to be, and looking at that and saying my awakened self too was here all the time. I just, you know, saw and felt and heard all these other things for a while. And now, because that's what is, if you notice, sometimes the more that you shift perception, the more you shift perspective, the identity self or the ego self, right? The personality self gets to, have it say, And that's where the awareness comes in, right? Before, we just didn't have that awareness of how to work with these different aspects and voices of ourselves. Right? It was like, who's speaking? How do we recognize what ego is? How do we recognize what my true self is? How do we recognize what that is? And maybe we're still learning, what our intuition is, how that feels, or what that voice is, or how it sounds like, what it feels like, and how to trust it. Right. And so this is that beautiful state, like you said, beautifully, George, is that we're just realizing, the path that we chose to now, again, to be able to discern those voices, we get to slow down and look at what those voices are producing. Is that a voice that's just constantly repeating stuff that I know that I've been in my life before? Or is it something that's inviting me into something new? Or maybe I've been hearing that voice before and it was trying to remind me of something, it was trying to bring me into something. Or maybe it was the scared part, or maybe it was the inspired part, or maybe it was the protective part. We have so many voices and aspects of ourself that when we slow down, we can give expression to, and that's finding our voice with ourself, giving voice to ourself that's within us to have it say, to have its expression, so we can acknowledge our present state, to allow that awakened state to then again have that place to land, have that place to be through those experiences. And we shed the light on it, right? And it's interesting to me because sometimes I'm like, I even want to shift from that duality dynamic of light and dark and shadow self and light self and just say my whole self. It was just a part of me. And here's this part of me. And I'm choosing this part of me instead of that part of me because this part of me feels more resonant now. For some whatever reason, that part of me was what was resonant before. If that's what I was perpetuating, that was my resonant field. And now I'm choosing a different resonant field so that we can embody more of that unity and wholeness, rather than that duality of higher, better, lower, this, dark, light. It's all a part of the wholeness. Can we engage with ourselves from that level of wholeness? That wasn't anything wrong. It wasn't anything bad. It wasn't anything, whatever. It's just what was. And that can take the pressure off too of having it to be something else or whatever. It's just, we're going to smooth out. Let's invite this, that smooth out of the way our mind conceives of these transformational processes, that we are just taking it. Because, yeah, we have some hard moments, man, when those things hit us sometimes, or we're just having one of those days where everything just feels all tight and contracted. And maybe we're, upset about something or something triggered us. It's like, yeah, okay. This is a part of wholeness. This is a part of myself. Okay, I'm just going to sit with it, be with it. What can I do? How much can I just sit here and allow that feeling to have its voice? How much can I allow that? It's powerful to do that for ourselves. That's what we're talking about, that courage, that strength. Because then when we're facing these things in life, these external things that are in front of us that are a challenge, maybe what we'll do with them is have more presence and awareness and compassion and willingness to hear that voice and not judge it and say, okay, that's a part of wholeness too. How do I really want to respond and relate to that? It's a bigger space of connection and relationship, right? Yeah, Kimmy. Uh, I notice more when I'm not in joy and I'm numb. Let's see, I'm sorry. This is shifting on me here. I notice more when I'm not in joy. I am uncomfortable with in a feeling or urgency like I was addicted to months ago. Wow. Yeah. So you're saying you were kind of addicted to the feeling of urgency or being uncomfortable. And so you're noticing that when you're not in joy, that's what's, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, and that's what we get to do. We get to notice these spaces. And once we start to notice the difference of the spaces, we have more choice, right? We have more ability to adjust and move in them and say, ooh, wow, now I'm aware of that. First it comes that awareness of like, yep, okay, I'm not in joy, or I'm not at peace, or I'm not relaxed, or I'm not present, and I'm feeling these things. Okay, I can acknowledge that and look at it. And the more we do that, it gives us more space to pause, more space to pause, more space to adjust, more space to choose, more space to allow what's there to be, and then to breathe through it or move with it, be more, as Ray said earlier, fluid with it, right? And acknowledge like that we're in this dynamic, instead of maybe going into resistance or judgment or having to push it away or whatever we do when we're there in that space, right? We're just like, here you are. Just like right now, we could look at the world and say, okay, there's the world, that's what's going on in the world. And that's a part of the process of this transition. Just like when I have my hard moments, imagine that, with, worldwide, when we're going through this transition, everything changing and moving and having to become something different and new. What we feel inside on those really intense days, that's what's happening out in the world on the bigger scale as things change, right? So maybe we can look at it and go, wow, okay, stay in my lane, stay in my center, stay in my presence, acknowledge my feelings or thoughts that I'm having coming up with it. And if I really do want to see something different, it starts here. So how do I want to be in my body and my thoughts, my emotions, my experience? What frequency do I want to connect into? What frequency do I want to be? And that's leadership. That is powerful leadership right there. Leadership isn't always leading another person, leading a group, whatever. Leadership is right here. How am I leading myself? Powerful. That's inner authority. That's sovereignty. Yes. Yes. So true, Kristen. Hi, Deborah. Yes. Thank you. And I'm so grateful, Kimmy, that you had that shift. That's exciting to hear. So congratulations that you're having that shift of awareness. And that's one of the things that I love to do. Thank you, Kathy, for being here. Yeah. Beautiful embodied circle. Powerful. Thank you. So that's one of the things that I love to do, and that I would invite you to do too, is celebrate when you have those moments of awareness. Celebrate when you notice you have those moments of shift. Honor yourself. Give yourself that awareness instead of maybe, oh, and now I can do this better. Oh, and now, and keep pushing or keep whatever. It's like, take a moment, just like maybe you want to celebrate somebody else for noticing something in them. Bring that home to yourself too, right? Bring that home to yourself too. Give yourself those moments of recognition. That's power right there too, is to be able to see yourself and say, yes. I mean, even just saying, okay, who was I yesterday to who I am today? Maybe yesterday I was up here and today I feel down here. Maybe yesterday I was down there and today I feel up here. Okay, great. Life is movement. Life is movement. But what I want to do is as I'm doing this, I'm recognizing scales, right? Or the pendulum. But what happens is, like, I was listening to something the other day, and a lot of times, on this, path of awakening or spiritual thing, we say, let's bring more ease, let's bring more grace, let's bring more joy. I know I've done that too. And then I recognize, you want to know, I don't want to necessarily use that language so much anymore, because then there's this expectation. There's this expectation that if we do transformation, if we do certain things, this is going to be the outcome. And we're all going to have our own different outcomes, right? So now let's open to what your outcome is going to be, how you're going to feel it, how you're going to receive yourself, how you get to be in your life now compared to that. And that when we're in those ups and downs and ebbs and flows and frequencies, that maybe what you'll feel is more connection to the experience, right? that allows you to move with it with maybe less extreme of, going from one end to the other. It's more of like, oh, wow, connection and presence creates more just ability to adjust and move. Yeah, let's see, Ray. There's a judgment that can emerge that joy is better than any other emotion. Yeah, that's very true too. You know, and so when we're in equanimity, when we're in this place of presence, when we come from unity consciousness or this place from wholeness, then that duality shifts of, oh, I'm in my shadow self. Oh, I'm in my light self. Oh, I'm in my this self. And I'm not in this, I'm in that. And it's really, I think what we're looking at here when we say being a joy, instead of thinking it as something that's better than another thing, or, oh, I'm not in my joy, so I'm not okay, right? is, or I'm not doing this right, or whatever it is. It's more like, let's shift it from joy to what frequency do I want to feel? Who do I want to be in this moment? Or just, can I just be with whatever is in this moment? Can I just be with whatever is in this moment and let it become whatever I am? Let me become whatever I am through what I'm experiencing right now. So it shifts from these ideas of these words of let's bring this in, let's be this, let's be that. It's more like, who am I in this moment? And what is that allowing me to become? If I'm present with myself, if I'm just acknowledging and connecting with myself, then what gets to emerge? Like, I love that word. What gets to emerge from this? And so then it takes that pressure off of right or wrong. What feels most aligned with my genuine self? Absolutely, Ray. It's like, who am I here and now? Yes. That presence of who am I here and now? And what is my harmony right now? I like using that word for myself. Like, if, Ray, it feels what feels most aligned with my genuine self. Yes. What is harmony in my body right now? What feels like it could feel in connection with what's true for me through this experience? And let that bring alive whatever that is. Maybe you do feel joy. Maybe you do feel contentment. Maybe you feel peace. Maybe you feel relaxation. Maybe you feel, just calm. Maybe you feel gentle with yourself or inspired or happy. I mean, it could be a number of our feelings and emotions. So also now I feel like I'm shifting out of that box of the limitation of the words we're thinking and just becoming whoever we are individually that is in connection or harmony with who we truly are in this moment. So thank you, Ray, for bringing that in, because that is so true. And I feel like it's a transition we all are going through right now too. So we don't have to attach ourselves to a certain outcome, to a certain way of being. So that expectation isn't there. And then there's not the pressure to achieve it. And then you just get to be. You just get to be. Lisa, yes, harmony, and asking my body, what are you telling me? I'm listening. What do you need? Absolutely. The inner inquiry is so important. The inner inquiry, that's for me, I do that a lot. And for those of you who work with me, we do that a lot too. We talk a lot too. And then there's like tuning in. Where am I feeling this? What's happening? What do you need? What voice is speaking and what do you need? Because the body's a signal of a part of ourself activating. It's like, who is that part of myself that's activating? If it's not just the physical body is a voice for, a part of ourself. Gosh, okay. Maybe, what do you need? What are you feeling? How can I acknowledge you? How can I be with you and present? And that's being with yourself. That's being with yourself, that connected presence. And that is love. A lot of times people are, like work into self-love. Like sometimes self-love, we say that, but it doesn't happen for a while. We have to like kind of work our, way into it through connection and presence. And connection and presence is a great act of self-love, is a huge act of self-love. And from that, then the heart opens and we get to say, oh, wow, I am loving myself over, maybe time and space, as maybe it's challenging to actually say, I love myself, right? But fundamentally, presence and connection, that's an act of self-love, a gift of self-love to the self. Yeah. So, yeah. So anybody else? Does anyone have any questions? Any more comments? Yes. Oh, yeah. Cleaning a house that holds 40 years has multiple challenges, indeed. And all I can do is embrace all to release old, to start new joys in the journeys of the new perception of possibilities. Absolutely. And I can take that on a physical level, or like a physical level of the body. If we're cleaning our house, right? We're cleaning our house after we have started to become aware that, there's some cleaning up to do, and then physically cleaning our house, it's like, wow, if you've lived in the same place for 40 years, what happens? Stuff piles up, maybe some corners get neglected, and it's just like living in awareness of ourself, over time, things pile up, things get neglected, and we all do it. And so now when we're awakening and coming into it and we get to clean up, whew, every time we move something, right? Oh, maybe there's another dust bunny, right? Sorting through old photos is trippy, isn't it? Thank you for I love that. Yeah, it is. It totally is. I love doing that myself sometimes. You're just like, whoa, like, whoa, because for me, I'm a visceral person. So sometimes I'll actually feel what I was feeling. And you do that, like feel what you were feeling in that moment, in that experience. You're like, wow, that was me then. Woo, do I still have some of those feelings? Or maybe I'm really different now and I see it differently, or maybe just looking at how we looked or how we dressed or like who we were with, all, what we were choosing at that time in our life, all those things. It's so amazing, It's I love looking, even just looking at pictures of my son. I love that you brought this in. So even just looking at pictures of my son that will, pop up on my phone or something, I'm like, whoa, right? It's like sometimes we forget who we were, like, whoa, that's what he looked like at that age. We're so in life that it's like sometimes we forget aspects of ourselves, even sometimes of the remembering now that we're like, wow, that's an amazing part of myself. Or wow, that's what I'm starting to clean up, right? But this path of what I was getting at earlier, as we're cleaning up, each layer that we clean is going to reveal, another layer sometimes. You know how when you wash your window and you keep watching, oh, there's another little spot, or there's a streak, or there's something, it's like, how can I get it crystal clear? Or how can I, do this? It's like, yeah, just remembering it's moment by moment. It's noticing by noticing. And that by each layer that we can connect with and be present with, we are, this is coming through. We are the world. We are the world embodied. There is no separation. I've been going through this recently again of like this I had this thing happen a few weeks ago where I was, or whenever it was in time and space, but it was like, I felt like I couldn't connect with the inner earth beings anymore. It just felt like it was blank. And I was like, what's going on? Like, this is so weird. I feel kind of disoriented, because in my meditations, it would just, here we are, we're hanging out and checking in and doing our thing. And all of a sudden it was just like gone. It's like your friends are gone, right? And I was like, okay, cool. All right. I'm just going to sit in this space and let it happen. And then I was noticing that some frequency adjustments in my awareness needed to happen. And then they would show up. But then there was another level of, oh, wait, right. There's this unity process happening and there's no separation anymore. And I feel their essence and I feel their presence, and it's my presence. And so remembering this over and over again, that we are unified with these things and with ourself. And that's that wholeness aspect. If we could just keep moving into this vibration, this frequency, this awareness of choosing that we are all of this embodied. How do I want to relate to it? How do I want to communicate? How do I want to be in this moment? In this moment, as things are shifting and changing, am I willing to keep shifting and changing with it? And times are it's different. It's a different experience now. When we were living a life where things were consistently the same for longer periods of time. Now it's like, every day is bringing us a new awareness, a new experience. And so just honoring that, being aware and just giving ourselves the space to be present with that. And again, not feeling like we have to achieve anything through it, just being and living life. Everything is a part of our life. What life today in this moment are we going to experience or live or choose? And bringing it right here, right now. And so I'm grateful for all of your comments. I love all of your comments. Yeah. So Andrea, yeah, can you talk into living a good life and witnessing so much fear, grief, and sorrow in the world that can affect our own possibilities? When I witness something tragic, it can affect me for days. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for bringing that in. Yeah, I hear you. And so that's just the power of your empathy, that you're feeling it. And also, there's an opportunity to go, okay, I'm feeling this. I'm not, acknowledge myself that I'm watching this world, and these things, and I'm feeling the grief or the challenge or whatever it is that, that I'm experiencing by seeing those things. And this is where we get into that sensitivity of our empathy going, maybe I need to take a break from looking at those things. Maybe those things, maybe it's not healthy for my system and my awareness to look at those things and take a break for a little while. Know that maybe they're happening and you don't need to tune into them, but also tuning into your body saying, okay, I'm empathic, I'm taking that on. And also looking at the thoughts going, why am I attaching to this? Why am why am I choosing that to attach to my body, to attach to my space, to attach to my mind? And that's a big process right in and of itself, is to look at that as an attachment. Anything that we're letting like really affect us, there's an attachment there. And so, Andrea, what I'm seeing for you is there's this place inside of you that deeply cares, And a lot of times, if you deeply care, those things that we see and feel in the world can affect us more. And I get that. And there's a part of you that I'm seeing that feels uh, responsible. That part of us that feels like, oh, we got to make a change. If that's happening, or I don't deserve to live and have a good life if someone's experiencing something tragic or someone's experiencing something that's difficult. And I'm seeing that alive in your system. And so going, well, okay, this can lead into a bigger, longer conversation here, but to keep it short and sweet, because I do need to transition in a few minutes, is that acknowledging that this world is going to go through tragic things, and that on some greater level, it's all a part of the play, and the people, the animals, the waters, whatever, there is some bigger, greater agreement to go through these processes, even though, yes, it's like causes a lot of pain. It causes, in the physical body and the emotion, all of that. I mean, I think about it too. And so of exactly, Charmaine. So I was actually just getting there. So it was just like, what we can do is go, wow, how can I honor their life? How can I honor the life of that child that I saw, or that person that I saw having this experience, or the animals that I'm seeing having this experience, or whatever it is, right? How can I honor their life and be, like Charmaine was just saying, love, to that. Or if I can't get there yet, if I can't really shift from grief to love, which is a big process for an empath, right? There can be a gap there. Is how can I just acknowledge my feelings and maybe, like, as George, I was just going into this too. I love how we're all in flow here in this unity consciousness, George, is your nervous system. How can I just, how can I bring my body back into a state of balance? What do I need to do to soothe my nervous system? What I need to do to nourish myself right now? And recognize I chose this body, I chose this life to maybe where I'm not experiencing those things. I can honor that. That's my choice. These people, these lands, this whatever is a part of that process of this experience on this planet at this time. Going to honor their choice to be the ones that are working through that level of pain and transition. So maybe I can go into honoring of their life. And then maybe that can bring me into compassion. Maybe that can bring me into love. And I'm going to invite what I'm feeling in my body, the grief, the sadness, the discomfort, into compassion for myself for feeling these things. Call on guides, call on that presence to be like, okay, all right. So these are just steps that you can take to support you and bring that in. Yeah. So I like that, Charmaine, you brought that in of, I find as an empath, instead of receiving maybe the grief, the tragedy, like feeling that pain, I simply project love. I send out love rather than absorbing any negative, right? And so, and maybe also, over time, shifting it from, I'm not seeing this as negative or positive. I'm not seeing my life is good and their life is bad. I'm just seeing it as, this is just where I chose to land in a body on this planet. And yes, I get to have these things because I'm choosing that. And they're choosing that for whatever reason, and honor them with gratitude for that. Get something to where you get to nourish your body and your nerve system, and then take a break from even looking at those things for a while. Maybe while you work on shifting the mindset, the perceptions of how you're choosing to perceive those things to have a different experience. Yeah. Yeah. So, George, also allowing your nervous system to transform this event from low frequency into a higher frequency, to be the transformer when others are overwhelmed. Yes. Yeah. So, one of the things that you can do is go, okay, maybe listen to something that's uplifting. Go, okay, I'm going to acknowledge my grief, my sadness, and then acknowledge it where it's in my body, nourish my body, do something relaxing or supportive for the nerve system. And then maybe I'm going to listen, for the next few days to something that can support myself in feeling, differently, having a different frequency. Yeah. Wow. Thank you everyone for being here. I hope that was helpful, Andrea. I know it's a lot when we're so empathic and when we really care about life. And believe me, it's very fascinating for me also from, traveling the world and seeing different things, what we might call the disparities or the inequalities or the imbalances or the environmental degradation, all these things. Because, I studied ecology. I studied like this grand scope of life on this planet and these interrelationships of life that are happening on the political, economic, environmental, spiritual experience, religious experiences, and just, seeing this bigger scope and picture of life. And when we can tune into that greater multidimensional aspect of too, that we're moving and changing through a great transition right now, and it's all a part of it, and it's a wholeness aspect. And so as we're going through that, how do we want to be? What do we want to be putting our attention on? What do we want to be putting our focus on? And how do we want to be in our bodies and our minds through this experience? Bring it back to yourself. Maybe, you know, I just get to be present with me, creating my life so that I am a pillar, a light, a frequency of being my true self, that it's allowing this planet to transition during its transition and strengthen that. So over time, there will be less and less of that happening on the planet. And right now we're just in extremes. right? And deep breaths. Whew, deep breaths. Yeah. Yeah. So Jennifer, this has been wonderful, Kristen. Thank you for your insight. I feel so much appreciation for all the help along my journey. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, it is powerful to be able to connect and sit together and be here through these transitions and experiences on our own individual paths, as well as this greater collective shift. So Paul, thank you, Kristen. Amazing collaboration of speakers, gratitude and blessings to you, and all for holding and sharing the space and light. Yes. And so that's what I'm sharing too. Yes, Andrea, and everyone, just what I needed to hear. Such a beautiful share. I now choose to see and honor everyone's experience. Yay. Wonderful. So everyone, I extend such great gratitude for you always for showing up, being present in this field, and allowing us to create such an incredible collaborative event. I love these experiences with you, and so appreciative of you and all your intentions that get to be held in the field, and know that they're going to continue to be held through the field through the next few days through the replays. And so if you want to join us on Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern for the unification ceremony, please show up to allow us to really amplify everything that we are and embody everything that we have experienced through the event, and get to just acknowledge and honor in ourselves. So thank you, Lisa. Yeah, blessings, Ray. Yeah, thank you so much, Kristen, for all the love you give and all the sharing. Absolutely. So thank you, everyone. I love you, and enjoy the replays. You'll be getting an email every day. But let's see, what's Wednesday and Thursday of USA time, North America time, you'll be getting 7 a.m. an email just with the link that has all the replays. And remember the gifts that are there for you as well on each individual speaker page. And also, if you want to upgrade and receive all of these, thank you for those who have to receive the package. And it also supports me in creating the event and being you. And if you want to have a session with me, this is an opportunity to receive one at a lower cost of a usual session, to come in and just be present with yourself and see what we can support you in or guide you in, and allow to create uh, a present, embodied, connected experience for your life, for your transformation and your awakened self, and remembering who you are. So lots of love for you. I appreciate all of you. You can access the other replays that were Lisa and Elizabeth from over the weekend still in the replay. All those are present if you didn't listen to those yet. And the access to the VIP package will be there, as well as the session. So yeah, Charmaine, I'm excited for the replays. Yay. Yeah, Shelly, thank you. Love the work you're doing. Thank you, Shelly. Appreciate you. So, and Leslie and Kimmy and Pat, because I see you up on your videos. Thank you for being here. And Deborah and Dawn, I know you just came in, but we were shifting. And Leo, thank you, because you've been with us as well. Leslie, Lisa, Lou, and Lynn, and uh, I don't want to say your name wrong, but Peasy, Paisy, Philip, yay, and Paul and Rose and Shelley, thank you all for being here. I appreciate each one of your presence, and honor you all. So be well in your day, uh, and appreciate you. Love and peace and honor and unity consciousness. Love you all. Be well. Take care.